What if I told you that you don't need a genius business plan, a groundbreaking invention, or even any real skills to get rich? Sometimes all it takes is a weird idea, the right timing, and the ability to make people believe in something ridiculous. Welcome to 3x3 Finance, where we break down the wildest money-making stories. Today we're looking at 5 people who got rich doing the most random things imaginable. From selling literal pet rocks to making millions on virtual land that doesn't even exist. These stories prove that opportunities are everywhere, even in the weirdest places. Let's dive in. What if you could sell people something they could pick up for free and make millions doing it? That's exactly what Gary Dahl did in 1975. His million-dollar idea? Selling regular rocks as pets. Yes, literally. Here's how he pulled it off. He marketed ordinary rocks as the perfect pet. No feeding, no mess, no vet bills. He packaged them in tiny cardboard boxes with breathing holes, just to make it seem legit. He wrote a fake instruction manual on how to train your rock, and people bought them like crazy. In just 6 months he sold over 1.5 million pet rocks at $4 each, raking in millions of dollars for something that cost him almost nothing. The takeaway? If you can make people laugh and hype up a product, they'll buy almost anything. Could this happen today? Absolutely. Just look at NFTs. Digital pet rocks are still making people rich. How much would you pay to have someone name your baby? For most people, picking a baby name is a personal decision, but for some parents, it's a business transaction. Enter Bo Jessup, a British entrepreneur who turned baby naming into a 6-figure business. How did she do it? She realized that wealthy Chinese parents wanted Western names for their babies, but they didn't want to pick something random. She launched a website, Special Name, where parents paid her to pick a meaningful, culturally appropriate name for their child. She charged between $50 and $150 per name, and thousands of parents signed up. So far she has named over 700,000 babies and made over $400,000 just from picking names. Imagine making a fortune just by telling people what to call their kids. What if I told you that you could make millions by creating an app that does absolutely nothing? That's exactly what happened with Yo, the dumbest app to ever make a fortune. Here's how it worked. The app had one feature. You could send the word Yo to your friends, that's it. No messaging, no photos, no features, just Yo. Somehow, it went viral overnight because people found it hilarious. Within weeks, investors poured in over $1 million into the app. At its peak, it was valued at $10 million. The creator, or Arbel, eventually sold it for a fortune before people realized it was pointless. The lesson? The dumbest ideas can make serious money if they go viral. Can playing video games really make you rich? For most kids, gaming is just for fun. But for Tyler Ninja Blevins, it became a multi-million-dollar career. Here's how he did it. He was already a skilled gamer, but when Fortnite exploded in popularity, he became one of the first players to stream it full-time. He built a huge audience on Twitch and YouTube, playing Fortnite for hours every day. Sponsors, donations, and ad revenue turned his hobby into a business. At his peak, he was making $500,000 a month just from streaming. He signed a $30 million exclusive contract with Mixer. His brand deals and merch sales pushed his total earnings over $50 million. What started as just playing video games turned into a massive fortune. The takeaway? If you love doing something, you can find a way to make money from it. What if you could sell real estate? That doesn't even exist. Meet John Jacobs, the man who made millions selling virtual land in an online game. How did this work? He played Entropia Universe, a virtual world where players could own and trade digital assets. He bought a virtual space station inside the game for 100,000 real dollars. He turned it into a profitable business, charging players in-game money to visit, shop, and hunt in his virtual world. Then a few years later, he sold the virtual space station for $635,000. That's right, he made over $500,000 selling fake land in a video game. And it's still happening today. Metaverse land, NFTs, and virtual real estate are being sold for millions. The real question is, would you invest in land that doesn't exist? The 5 people we just talked about aren't the only ones who struck gold with random ideas. Some of the most ridiculous businesses, side hustles, and one-off ideas have made people millions, sometimes without them even trying. Before we wrap this up, let's look at a few more mind-blowing ways people have gotten rich by thinking outside the box. What if you could sell absolutely nothing and people would buy it? That's exactly what Jason Zook did when he came up with a genius and kinda ridiculous idea selling space on his t-shirt. How did it work? Companies would pay him to wear a t-shirt with their logo on it for a day. Every day the price increased, starting at $1, then $2, then $3, until it snowballed into a 6-figure business. By the end of the year, he had made over $100,000 just by wearing shirts. But it didn't stop there. Later, he sold his last name to a company for $50,000. That's right, he literally changed his name to JasonHeadsets.com to promote a brand. Then he did it again, legally renaming himself Jason Surfrap for another $50,000. He made over $1 million selling something that didn't even exist, his own identity. The takeaway? If you're creative enough, people will pay you for almost anything. What if your million-dollar business idea involved toilet paper? Meet Susan Bain, the woman who turned toilet paper wedding dresses into a seven-figure empire. How did she do it? It started as a fun contest. Who could make the best wedding dress out of toilet paper? But soon, it became a viral sensation. Thousands of women started entering the contest, with some dresses looking just as good as real ones. The event got massive media attention, and now, she runs an entire toilet paper fashion company. Her dresses sell for thousands of dollars. Even big brands sponsor her contest every year, all from a joke idea about TP. Would you ever buy a wedding dress made of toilet paper? Because apparently, plenty of people would. What if you could make $1 million from a single website with nothing on it? That's what Alex 2, a college student from the UK, did when he launched the $1 Million homepage. His genius idea? He created a website with 1 million pixels. He sold each pixel for $1, letting businesses buy space to put their logos. Companies rushed to get a spot, because they knew thousands of people were visiting the site. By the time he sold out, he had made $1,037,100 just from selling tiny squares on a blank web page. No product, no service, just pixels. Would this work today? Probably not. But back then, it was pure genius. Selling real art is hard. Selling invisible art? Somehow that worked too. Meet James Franco's artist friend who made thousands of dollars selling art that didn't exist. Here's how he pulled it off. He created invisible art pieces, but they only existed in the buyer's imagination. Instead of actual paintings or sculptures, buyers received a certificate saying they now owned a piece of invisible art. People actually paid thousands of dollars for these blank spaces. One collector even paid $10,000 for an invisible sculpture. The craziest part? The art world took it seriously. Just proves that perception is everything. If people believe something is valuable, they'll pay for it. Every single one of these success stories seems completely ridiculous at first. Selling pet rocks, naming other people's babies, making an app that does nothing, selling virtual land in pixels, even selling literally nothing, but they all work because the people behind them saw value where no one else did. What do these stories prove? People will pay for things they don't need, if you market it right. Thinking differently is more profitable than following the crowd. Creativity and timing are often more valuable than experience or skill. If you take one thing away from this, it should be this. The next $1 million idea is probably something no one would ever take seriously, until someone actually does it. Now that we've looked at even more insane ways people have turned random ideas into millions, let's go back and reflect on what these success stories all have in common. Each of these people got rich doing something completely unexpected. A guy sold regular rocks as pets. A girl made a fortune naming babies. A college dropout built an app that did nothing and sold it for millions. A teen gamer turned Fortnite into a business empire. A man flipped virtual land for a real-world payday. What do all these stories have in common? They found money where no one else was looking. They capitalized on trends before the world caught on. They weren't afraid to try something ridiculous. Sometimes the weirdest ideas make the most money. Which of these stories surprised you the most? Drop a comment below, and if you love hearing about insane money-making stories, hit that like button and subscribe because trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching 3x3 Finance.